So here is a truth that some of you may already have realized, while others are on the way of realizing it, and that's the good news. And this truth is that life does not give you what you want. It gives you exactly what you need. And I'm saying this not to sound poetic. I'm saying this because I have seen it multiple times. You may think that life is all about fulfilling your desires. Life is all about achieving your goals. Life is all about manifesting things. But later on your journey, you will see, if you're a deep thinker and you actually observe life carefully, you will see that it was never about these things. It was more about learning to use whatever life presents you to your own advantage, using it to grow, so to say, or using it to expand your consciousness, to get more in touch with who you are. That's what life is all about. And there is nothing wrong with fulfilling your desires. There is nothing wrong with achieving your dreams. If you're someone who feels called to do these things, then that's what you need to do 100%. But that's not the ultimate goal that life is trying to teach you, so to say. It's not the ultimate lesson. And there is only so much you can control on an external level. You need to realize this. You cannot control what life will throw at you. You can only control, when we talk on a practical level, you can only control the way you will respond. How are you going to use this thing that life is throwing at you? What are you going to do about it? That's on a practical level. But when we go deeper into a more spiritual level, everything that will happen in your life has already happened, because in the ultimate reality, everything happens all at once, which means that past, present, future have already happened. You are already born and you already died. So everything that you will choose, you are meant to choose in your life. And this realization gives you freedom. It gives you the freedom to act the way you want to act. It gives you the freedom to be who you truly are and choose what you genuinely want to choose. And you don't feel scared about making decisions. You don't feel fearful about which one do I choose. Do I stay in that situation, or do I leave it, or what do I do? There is no sense of fear when making these decisions. It's like you do what you feel guided to do, and you remember that everything that you're going to choose, everything that you're going to act on, has already happened. You have already chosen it. This is a deep truth that it gives you such sense of freedom that I don't think that something else can give you that in this material world, which is not really material. Everything is energy in its essence, but it looks dense, it looks material, but that's another video. So yeah, there are those two sides of the coin, which is the practical level, realizing that you cannot control the happening, the unfolding of your life. You have zero control over it. The only thing you have control over is how you respond to it and what are you going to do about it, which in itself changes everything. But to the more deeper level, again, everything has already happened and you will end up where you were meant to end up. And this is a paradox, but we need to understand that everything is a paradox. It's always yes and no and maybe, and yes in this situation, yes, here no, not right. In this situation it's not really right, but here yes. There is no like yes, this is it. This is just not the reality of things, or no, this is not true. For some situations it may be true, for others it may not be true. So do your best to see what life presents to you, and instead of trying to fight it, oh, I don't want this thing to happen, try to actually be mature enough to see, okay, this is out of my control. This is not something that I can control. It's not something I have influence over. It has happened. What am I going to do from now on? How am I going to respond to this? Because many people live in a state of reaction, which is something happens and then they react. And there is no space between. When you create that space, I don't want to get abstract. I want it to be very clear. When something happens to you, stop for a second. Don't get inside your head. Don't start thinking too much about it. See, okay, life is throwing this situation at me. How am I going to respond? And the best way I have found so far in my life to respond is with love. If something negative happens to you, quote unquote negative, because nothing is really negative, but it seems so to the perception of the mind, choose to laugh about it a little. Choose to, uh, um, you see, because life is not so serious. We need to stop taking life so seriously. That's where all the anxiety comes from. That's where all the fear comes from. That's all these things come from. When you actually realize that this life is just, it's a video game, so to say. You are not this body, and this world is not your home. You're here for a temporary amount of time, for a limited amount of time, and you will leave, and then you will move on. And realizing this gives you the ability to choose love and light in all situations. So something happens, find what is this trying to show you. Find out what is this situation trying to awaken you to. And for the most part is that the choice of not resenting the situation, not trying to fight it, not trying to impose your will on the situation, but choose to accept it. Choose to accept it and choose to love it, whatever that situation may be. And this requires a higher level of consciousness. This requires of you to be mature in these spiritual teachings. Just by hearing it once, you may not be able to apply it um, if you have started your spiritual journey like not long ago. You may understand these things on an intellectual level, but you will not be able to apply them. You need time for these teachings to get integrated, and then you can actually make that choice. But even if you're at the beginning stages of your journey, of your spiritual journey, uh, try your best to like be more light about life. Don't take it so seriously. have some fun. And I don't mean go out and drink like 2 liters of whiskey. That's not what fun is. Fun is like you have the attitude of, okay, I'm here and I'm participating in this movie called life. And why be so serious about it? In the end, we all leave the body. So everything you did here is basically meaningless. It's not really meaningless, but there is no words to describe it. It's like it's very meaningful, but at the same time, it's meaningless because what you are can never get affected in this life. Your soul, your very essence of who you are, can never be touched by anything in this life. And this is something that you will understand for yourself once you experience deep level of suffering and trauma. Suffering and trauma, they unlock something within you. It's like you, because of suffering and trauma, you actually learn to get back to yourself and be in your own beingness, because that's the only safe place you have. That's what suffering and trauma and pain are trying to awaken in you. It's moving your attention from the external to the internal and finding your very essence inside. And that's your safe place. And you realize that nothing in this life can actually touch that. It always remains the same. It's always peaceful. It's always love. It's always, there is such a level of depth to it that we cannot even comprehend, but it's always there. And the more you can connect to that and stay in that, make it a habit, make it a practice in your daily life, the more you can stay in that place, the more truth you realize and the more downloads you get about everything, the more realizations you have. Because now you are doing what you came here to do, which is to awaken to that thing within you, which is your very essence or the divine molecule within you. And then you stop taking life so seriously. And even though you're making, let's say, life-changing decisions or so on, there is no sense of fear. There is no sense of worry. It may try to get you. It's not that they don't try to get you, worry and fear, but you don't buy into them anymore because you don't take this life so seriously. You enjoy your experience in life, and whatever life throws at you, you accept it as it is and you alchemize it. You alchemize it by taking something that is quote unquote negative and using it for a positive purpose, which is for the most part to awaken to your true essence. And that's it. Life will always give you what you need, and it will not give you what you want. Sometimes, yes, what you want and what you need are actually the same thing, and you actually get it. But you see, let's take the subject of money, for example, because money is a sensitive subject to a lot of people. Um, if you're trying your entire life to make money, but you've tried everything, you've tried this, you've tried that, you just cannot do it. Well, that's actually life showing you that you don't have so much control over things that your ego is trying to persuade you to think. While others, they may be 30 years younger than you and they may not be as intelligent as you. Not that someone is intelligent and someone else is like not so. Everyone has intelligence in them. But let's say you are more developed on a practical level. You have more skills, you have more knowledge, you have more wisdom, but you can't seem to make money. And then there is some 20 years old guy or girl who just came into this world, let's say, and they stumbled across an idea and they made it work and they made millions. So, how are you going to explain that? You see, again, life gives you what you need, not what you want. But does this mean that you give up on everything and you stop doing everything and you don't do what you feel called to do? And if you feel called to earn more money or start a business or or pursue your passion, no, you still do these things because you feel called to do them. Now, will they unfold in the way that you project, in the way that you expect? Probably not. They may unfold better for your soul. They may unfold in a different way that will still get you to the place where you need to be. So there is no guideline, there is no map. No one can tell you what you should do with your life. People can only share experience like I'm doing here. And my experience has been such that whatever you feel called to do, you should definitely do it. But also remember that whatever is meant to happen will happen. In fact, it has already happened. So don't get so much in your head. Don't overthink it. Just if you're called to do something, just do it and forget about outcomes, forget about results. Do it because you feel the calling, not because you project an outcome. And the mind will try to trick you into that state of being again where you're obsessed over results and getting what you want. But over time, you see that this leads nowhere. It leads to exhaustion, it leads to too much overthinking, it leads to uh, emotional heaviness. So you realize that it's not really worth it to project and chase so badly things. Instead, you do things because you feel called to. Whatever life presents you, you intuitively feel how you should respond, and you live more from your heart rather than from your mind. And there is nothing wrong with the mind. The mind is a tool for structure. So if you want to, let's say, pursue your passion, you need some structure in order to do it. So the mind is a useful tool when it comes to structure, but it's a very it does a very poor job when you give it the steering wheel. So your heart must guide you, and then the mind only needs to structure things. That's all that the mind needs to do. And once the structuring is done and you know what to do, then stop thinking about it. Just do it. Do it and do it and do it because you feel called to do it. Doesn't matter if you get famous, doesn't matter if you earn a lot of money, doesn't matter if you achieve what you want to achieve. What matters is that you came here on this planet to experience your life and you followed what you were called to do, because what you were called to do is what you came here to experience. And you did that. So you have fulfilled your purpose. Money, fame, and so on, they're secondary. They come to you only if you need to experience them. If you don't need to experience them, they don't come because you didn't choose to experience these things. Whatever you have chosen to experience in this life, this is what you experience. You cannot stop it, you cannot avoid it, you cannot get off track. You're always on track, you're always in alignment, and you will experience what you came here to experience. Destiny cannot be stopped because it has already happened. So realize this, This gives you a sense of freedom, and then do what you feel called to do. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for being here. Check out the description box. My clothing brand is over there. Also my website and everything else you will need. So yeah, check it out, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.